Hello, and welcome back to the English Journey podcast. I'm Tom.
And I'm Emily. We're so happy to have you with us for today's episode. Hey, Tom, you take care of your skin, your body, your heart health, but have you ever thought about taking care of your brain?
The brain, you say? People often talk about going to the gym for your body, but you rarely hear someone say going to the gym for your brain.
Exactly. And yet, the brain is what controls everything: our thoughts, emotions, actions, memory, and even our sense of happiness. Basically, if your brain lags, your life freezes right along with it.
That's so true. Every day, our brains have to process thousands of decisions, from what to eat and what to do first, to incredibly complex things like problem solving, communication, and creativity. And yet, we just expect it to run smoothly our entire lives.
It also directly affects our productivity at work. On days when I feel mentally sharp, I can get through my work 2 or 3 times faster. But then there are those brain fog days where I can sit for an hour and not even manage to write a single email.
Absolutely. Brain fog, a lack of focus, minor forgetfulness, these are all signals that our brain's engine needs a tune-up.
And finally, and most importantly, our brain determines our happiness. A healthy brain helps us see problems more positively, manage stress better, and feel more deeply connected to life. It's the foundation for a high-quality life.
When memory starts to decline, concentration wanes, we get easily irritated, or just feel mentally exhausted, people blame it on work, on stress, but very few look at the central processing unit itself.
So today, we're going to unpack a truth. If you don't know how to take care of your brain, you might be making yourself slower, more tired, and less happy every single day.
And don't worry, today's podcast won't just help you recognize these silent problems. We'll also give you good habits, memory training techniques, and even a sample routine that you can start using right after you finish listening.
All right, are you ready? Tom, if I were to ask people right now, what is silently damaging your brain every day, what do you think they would say?
Probably stress, age, or maybe working too much?
Yeah, those are true, but there's a much sweeter assassin: dopamine dysregulation from social media overuse.
Ah, that's right. That feeling of checking your phone, scrolling through a few short videos, seeing a new like, a new message, your brain gets an instant dopamine hit. Then an hour later, you look up and wonder, where did the time go? But what exactly is dopamine?
Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that helps us feel pleasure, motivation, and reward. The problem is, social media is hacking this natural dopamine system.
It creates cycles of instant rewards, short videos, push notifications, pull to refresh, keeping the brain constantly stimulated.
And the consequence is, your brain loses its ability to wait, your focus decreases, and you no longer feel interested in slow pleasures, like reading a book, learning something new, or simply sitting still. Our brains are always in a state of craving the next dopamine hit.
And that's why we feel restless or agitated when we have to do something boring for more than 15 minutes. Our brain has gotten used to junk food.
Exactly. That's the first enemy. The second one is just as familiar: lack of sleep. People often brag about sleeping only 4 or 5 hours a night to work more. But from a neuroscience perspective, that's an act of self-sabotage.
Sleep, especially the deep sleep stage, is when the brain cleans up toxic waste, the proteins that build up during the day, including amyloid beta, a protein closely linked to Alzheimer's disease.
So when we're sleep deprived, we're not letting the cleanup crew do its job. The waste just keeps accumulating.
That's right. The immediate consequences are brain fog, forgetfulness, and irritability the next day. The long-term consequences include an increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases.
Sleep isn't a waste of time. It's an essential biological function for the brain to repair and regenerate itself.
Okay, so I've identified two enemies: social media and lack of sleep. Are there any others?
Oh yes, there are a few more. For example, chronic stress. High levels of stress make it very difficult for us to learn new things, and our memory becomes terrible.
Next are the enemies from our lifestyle, a diet high in sugar and processed foods. The brain consumes a huge amount of energy, but it needs clean energy. Refined sugar causes inflammation in the body and brain, and it also reduces BDNF, a protein often called fertilizer for the brain.
Also, sitting for too long and being inactive reduces blood flow to the brain, lowering its oxygen supply.
And finally, a habit I think every office worker is guilty of: multitasking.
Multitasking is an illusion of productivity. We listen to music, scroll through our phones, and work at the same time. It seems efficient, but it actually overloads the brain and reduces the quality of our work. Every one of these bad habits is like a small cut. You don't feel the pain immediately, but slowly, they make us more forgetful, less focused, emotionally unstable, and even increase the risk of depression.
It's like having a high-end smartphone but never updating the software, never clearing the junk files, and never closing the background apps. Sooner or later, it's gonna lag. After hearing about that whole list of enemies, I could really use a little bit of hope right now, Emily.
Hope is on the way, Tom. The good news is our brains have the ability to heal and grow if you know how to take care of them properly. And here are the golden habits that science has proven to be effective.
The first golden habit, and the most important one, is to prioritize quality sleep.
Exactly. It's not just about getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, but about getting good, deep sleep. You should create a bedtime ritual.
Turn off electronic devices with blue screens at least an hour before bed. Blue light inhibits the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone. Instead, read a physical book, listen to soft music, or write in a journal. Keep your bedroom dark, cool, and quiet. When you treat sleep as a non-negotiable appointment with your health, everything changes.
Second, move regularly. This is the most powerful medicine for the brain. You don't need intense gym sessions. Just a 30-minute brisk walk each day can help create new brain cells in the hippocampus, the area that stores memories.
So you get a healthy body and a healthy brain, killing two birds with one stone. What about food?
Third, nourish your brain with the right food. Think of the Mediterranean diet or Mind diet. The brain loves things like blueberries for antioxidants, salmon, rich in omega-3s, walnuts, chia seeds, avocados, eggs, and green tea. At the same time, limit sugar, fried foods, and processed foods as much as possible.
Fourth is practicing meditation or mindfulness. This is a habit that helps us fight stress and distraction.
Just 5–10 minutes a day of sitting still and focusing on your breath can train your prefrontal cortex. This reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, while increasing gray matter in the region that controls emotions.
Fifth, limit multitasking. Do one thing at a time. Your brain will focus better, get less tired, and be more effective.
Just 5–10 minutes a day of sitting still and focusing on your breath can train your prefrontal cortex. This reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, while increasing gray matter in the region that controls emotions.
Fifth, limit multitasking. Do one thing at a time. Your brain will focus better, get less tired, and be more effective.
And finally, do a periodic dopamine detox. For example, one evening with no social media. Instead, read a book, draw, go for a walk, or play a board game. You'll be surprised at how free your mind feels.
When you turn these into habits, you don't just improve your brain. Your mood, your life energy, and the quality of your relationships will also change for the better.
Absolutely. These are the foundational building blocks. And now, for those who want to level up even more, let's get into specific techniques to boost your memory and thinking skills.
I'm really excited about this part. After building those foundational habits, now it's time to level up, right, Emily?
That's right, Tom. If those golden habits are like building a solid foundation, this part is about the tools and techniques to build the upper floors.
One of the most ancient and effective techniques is the method of loci, also known as the memory palace. The basic idea is that you associate the information you need to remember with a familiar location in your mind, like your own house.
That sounds interesting. How does it work?
Let's say you need to remember a shopping list. Eggs, milk, bread, and bananas. You imagine yourself walking through your house. At the front door, you see a giant egg blocking your way. You step into the living room and see a river of milk flowing everywhere. You go to the kitchen and see loaves of bread growing out of the oven. And in your bedroom, you see a monkey eating a banana on your bed.
That's such a weird image, but I have to admit, I don't think I could ever forget it.
That's the key. Our brains are great at remembering images, especially images that are weird, funny, and spatially connected. By turning abstract information into a series of vivid images, you're hacking your brain's natural ability to remember.
Brilliant. Are there any other techniques?
A highly effective technique for long-term learning is spaced repetition. Instead of trying to cram information many times in one day, you review it at increasing intervals. After 1 day, then 3 days, then 1 week, then 1 month.
Why is that method so effective?
Because it signals to the brain that this information is important, don't throw it away. Every time you try to recall information you're about to forget, the neural connection for that information gets stronger. Language learning apps like Duolingo or Anki are built on this principle.
Makes a lot of sense. Instead of cramming, space out your learning. Besides memory techniques, are there other ways to train our thinking?
Definitely. It's about actively engaging in intellectually challenging activities. Don't just passively consume content. Play strategic games like chess or Sudoku. Read books, especially from different fields, to broaden your thinking. Learning a new language or a musical instrument are two of the most comprehensive workouts for the brain because they require the coordination of many different brain regions: memory, sound, logic, and fine motor skills.
So the key is to be active and challenged.
Another important thing is your brain's state when you learn. If you're learning while anxious, tired, or in a distracting environment, your brain won't retain anything. It's best to learn when your brain is clean, after a good night's sleep, after a light meal, and with no social media.
And perhaps deep work is also an important thinking technique?
Absolutely. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It's like a superpower in today's world. When you do deep work, you allow your brain to create high-quality connections, produce breakthrough ideas, and perform at a peak level. It's the complete opposite of shallow work like answering emails or scrolling through social media.
So we now have a powerful advanced toolkit, memory techniques like the memory palace and spaced repetition, along with actively training the brain through games, books, languages, and harnessing the power of sleep and deep work.
Exactly. We have all the theory. Now for the most anticipated part. How do we combine all of this into a normal day? We're going to build a sample routine that's super easy to apply.
After all the theory, it's time to put it into practice. Have you ever wondered, what does a day of brain care actually look like?
Well, I imagine this like the schedule of a neuro CEO. All right, let's walk through a suggested golden routine, breaking it down by parts of the day.
First up, in the morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Try to wake up early, but instead of immediately grabbing your phone, leave it for the first 30 minutes. Then, drink a glass of warm water to wake up your brain. After that, take 5 to 10 minutes for some simple meditation or deep breathing. Next, get some sunlight and do some light exercise. This will naturally boost your serotonin and dopamine. Finally, for breakfast, focus on a meal rich in protein and good fats, like eggs, avocado, oatmeal, or berries.
Moving on to midday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. For lunch, aim for a meal that isn't too high in sugar and try not to overeat. Following your meal, a short 5 to 10 minute walk is a great idea. It helps digestion and increases blood flow to the brain. If you can, a 15-20 minute power nap is fantastic for boosting alertness and improving short-term memory.
Then comes the afternoon, 2 p.m., 5 p.m., your main block for productivity. Here, the key is to choose one difficult task for a 90-minute deep work session. Remember to avoid multitasking. While you're working, you can use the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of focus, 5 minutes of break. And a crucial tip, try to have no caffeine after 3 p.m. to avoid sleeplessness at night.
Finally, let's talk about winding down in the evening, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Start with a light dinner, limiting sugar and oily foods. Afterwards, dedicate some time to a creative or relaxing activity like reading, drawing, or talking with loved ones. Most importantly, turn off all electronic devices 1 hour before bedtime. Just before you sleep, try journaling by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. The ultimate goal here is to be in bed before 11 p.m. to ensure you get deep REM sleep.
You don't have to be 100% perfect. Just aim to improve by 1% each day. After a week, you'll clearly notice your brain lags less, your memory is better, and you can work with a clearer head.
And most importantly, you're sending a signal to yourself. I value my brain. I choose to live mindfully. We've been on quite a journey, from understanding the brain's importance and identifying bad habits to learning how to nourish our minds every day.
If you find yourself often being forgetful, distracted, or feeling that brain fog, it's not your fault. It's your brain's reminder. Please pay a little attention to me.
Your brain doesn't need you to be brilliant. It just needs you to take care of it properly. Caring for your brain is like investing in an asset. The earlier and longer you do it, the greater the returns.
So, starting tomorrow, try to apply at least one thing you've learned from this podcast. And you'll see, a clear mind will change the way you live, work, and love.
Thanks for joining us today.
And if you found this podcast helpful, don't forget to share it with your family, friends, and your own brain too.
See you in the next episode of the English Journey Podcast.